right, it should be recorded completely. But I wanted to hop on here and just first and foremost say welcome to our team Zoom call. If you've never been on here before, obviously my name is Chelsea Steer. I go by Chelsea Noella on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the things. And we are starting a series where we are going through different leaders who have made it to certain ranks or certain leaders who are just so phenomenal on our team. And they're going to go through and share their stories and their best tips and their best books. And as you guys know, we are on a massive personal development team. Every single person on our team is reading every single day and growing every single day. That's actually a requirement to work with a lot of our leaders that are on our team. So I'm super excited. We're going to be actually sharing one of our brand new rubies, someone who literally just went ruby this month. She claimed executive last month. She hit ruby this month within her first or second week, I believe, and now she's going for emerald. I'm going to keep admitting people into the actual Zoom call too. So you might see some more names pop up, but I'm super excited. And we are actually welcoming Maranda Batchelder tonight. She's one of my new girls from Maine, and she's been with me for a little bit now. And so I'm going to kind of see if she wants to unmute and just share her story first.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are unmuted. You got the floor.
Okay. Girl. All right. Thanks for having me. So I am an ed tech from Northern Maine. I'm actually going to school full time. I'll graduate in May, and I work a job full time. I'm an ed tech in the special ed department. So when I'm not working as my ed tech on my lunches, on my breaks, on my free time, I am working this business. I am hustling. I have always wanted to make that little bit of extra income to pay off, the debt. There's extra house things that I'd like to get done. And I just felt like there was no other way out. And to be honest, I was going negative for a little while in the bank account. There were days that I would have to scramble around for money to pay for that $20 in gas. And there was just days I felt like there was nothing else to do. So I've actually been watching Chelsea for a little while. I think she reached out a lot of times within the last year, and there was finally one day she posted a status, and it was like, aha, there was my light bulb that switched on. So I reached out to her, and ever since then it's been like a whole different change, a whole different aspect of life that I never thought would even fall into my lap. Let's see. I made a list here because I'm not very good at speaking, so just bear with me.
I'm not good at speaking either, like publicly speaking. There's no way, girl. When I first started my business, I looked at these girls doing these Zoom calls and I was like, there's no way you would ever see me on there. And here I am every single Wednesday night. So you are doing so good.
So when doing the personal development, I'll be honest, I never picked up a book in my life. I was never a good reader. And the personal development has changed me. Listening to it every single day when I'm in the shower, when I'm driving in the car, if I'm sitting watching TV, it's playing in the background. My husband don't like listening to it. He's like, there's so much stuff going on. So I put an earpiece in and he doesn't have to listen to it. I'm currently reading John C. Maxwell, which is fire. So the personal development has helped gear me towards where I should be, and my mindset is a completely different than where I was when I started in December. It's a total different aspect. Let's see. So of course I've just gone Ruby. I have earned a tier 1 and a tier 2, and I just got my bonus for my Ruby. I think I've earned 3 tier 1s and a tier 2. And now getting the Ruby bonus.
Yeah, you've hustled on that Ruby.
That I did. And losing my grandfather 1 month ago today was I think that was the lowest point of my business where I have ever been. I think I went 1 whole week without I'll be honest, without promoting my business, without reaching out to anybody. My grandfather was a big inspiration to me, and losing him was a very deep spot. And we had his funeral the week after he passed away. And it was like one day I was driving to work and I just asked for that sign, and it was like a rainbow had appeared in the sky. And it was like, yep, there it is. And that fire lit, and off I went. So it was definitely difficult to come over that hurdle after losing such a big person. And I think he is the biggest inspiration as to hustling after losing him, is knowing that he would be proud of me no matter if he's here or not. So that was a big reason to hustle for that ruby. So a number one tip is consistency. Consistency. No is not the end of the world. And I'll tell you, I had the first couple weeks when I got a no, I was like, oh, this is the end of it. I can't do this. But I kept going. Consistency is the key. Never count your ducks before they hatch. That is something that Chelsea always tells me. Never count them before you sign them. Always keep going to that next loyal customer, to that next potential distributor. Always keep going, keep following back up with them, keep moving, keep asking them, checking in with them, asking them how their day is. I notice if I keep asking them how their day is, they're constantly messaging me, asking me, what is this post about? What is that post about? So it's getting that conversation going. They're knowing you, they're loving you, and they're liking who you are.
Mm-hmm. I love that too. And you know, when you said don't count your chickens before they hatch, I know I've said this multiple times, but can you share just for our new girls what exactly that means? Like, when was there a time in your business where I had reached out to you and I had said that to you? What was going on in your business at that point?
I believe the first time you said that is I had a loyal customer, and it was right when we had, oh, I think it was the Slimming Gummy sale, and she wanted it for $45. And we had gotten her information. I had given her the price. She had sent me all of her stuff, and I got to the sending the total amount, and she had sent back, oh, well, I thought it was $45. Nope, that's too much for me. I'm sorry. So that right there was like, yep, that's why you don't count that one before you send that. So that was the big eye opener. Like, don't count them until you get that final submission page, because you'll count it before it's even submitted.
And let's relate this to the chat really quick, okay? You guys heard what Miranda just said. She got to this point where she got this girl's info. She went all the way through the order, and then the girl said, "No, I think we're good," right? Or, you know, it doesn't happen for you, right? I want you guys to drop like a 1 in the chat, okay? If you have gone through the same exact thing before, because it's so important for our new girls to see in here that we've all gone through this, where we have gotten to the point where we've gotten almost to the end and then they back out. Okay, it is so normal, and it's especially normal, especially when you first get started, because you're learning, you're growing, you're like learning the ins and the outs of the business. You're learning how to talk to people, you're learning how to influence other people, you're learning how to get them to like you, know you, and trust you, right? So I think that was a really good and valuable lesson that should be taught, you know. And then you had said at one point in here what your number one biggest lesson was. Could you elaborate on that?
So you have to work for it and want it. You just can't let it fall in your lap. Like, you can't just say, oh, yep, I want this right now, and I'm not going to put any work into my business. I'm going to just let everything fall in my lap. If you think you're going to let it fall in your lap, then you have to work a little bit harder. And I thought, as day one, I'm not going to lie, I thought day one, oh, this is going to be real easy. I can just, post things and just have people, just like my stuff, not do host to post, not nothing. And I'm like, nope. It was like day 3. And I'm like, nope, you've got to hustle for it. You've got to want it. Your why has to be big. You have to know what you're running for. And you got to want it more than just for the money is good, but you're going to want it more. Know that why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so important your why. And I think you and I just had a conversation about this, like what, 2 days ago, something like that.
Yes.
And all about your why and the reason why you're doing this in the first place. And what's really crazy is that I did the same similar thing when I first started. My why was not really like important to me, I guess you would say. I needed a new vehicle because my truck was breaking down. And so that was like my why when I first started. But that why got me sitting for 4 months straight. I did absolutely nothing for the first 4 months of my business because I didn't realize how I was going to actually get that truck, right? A new vehicle. But I also didn't realize that truck wasn't something that I was emotionally connected to. And so it wasn't going to make me actually hustle. When you want your why and you want your dream just as much as you want to breathe, that's when you will run, right? And I'm sure you probably felt that. Do you feel like you felt that when you were going Ruby?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you felt like you needed this more than anything. And even Miranda, like I remember us talking about readjusting your why and how like when you first started, you had a certain thing that you wanted, but then you were like, okay, we need to shift gears because this isn't pulling me hard enough, right? And then we went through, you know, a loss in your family and we went through getting back up from that and growing your mindset. And then you were like, all right, it's time to really shift gears and figure out exactly what this is going to pay for. It's almost like with your why, you got to know exactly to the penny what it's going to pay for. Right. So I want to share this. I know this is your Zoom call too, but I want to share this because I think it's really, really important. And I just shared this with a couple of you the other night, but I think it's important for our new girls. Okay. If you're struggling to find your why, I just came up with this the other day. You take a piece of paper and I say you fold it hamburger style, right? Do you remember me telling you about this?
Yes.
Okay, so you fold it hamburger style, just like we're in elementary school again, okay? When it comes down to it, I folded it. And then at the top of it, I wrote 150, 350, and 500. What do you guys think that this represents? Tell me in the chat. What do you think that this represents? 150, 350, and 500. Okay. Now, here's the deal. On this paper, you've got columns. So you can separate it by columns if you want, but you're going to go and brainstorm. Take 10 minutes of your day. Okay. We take 10 minutes to go to the bathroom. We take 10 minutes to do our dishes. We take 10 minutes and do our laundry. We take 10 minutes and talk to our husbands about absolutely nothing, right? We take 10 minutes to listen to him talk about some crazy thing that happened at work. Why can't we take 10 minutes to brainstorm, right? 10 minutes. Take that 10 minutes. And then you're going to brainstorm all the things that $150 could pay for in your life. If you were to get $150 on repeat, what would you spend it on? What would you pay for, right? Now, then you go over to your $350 section and you go right down the list. You want to try to fill this paper. What would $350 pay for? Again and again and again and again and again, right? Maybe it's paying for $350 would pay for you and your daughter to go out and get your nails done every single month, right? Maybe $350 would pay for the light bill every single month. I know it'd pay for mine. You know, maybe it would pay for your hold on, I gotta admit someone in. Maybe it would pay for your dog food and your cat food and, you know, whatever. Maybe it would pay for your gas and your groceries every single week. Maybe it would pay for you to get that new sofa set that you've been looking to get, right? Maybe it would pay for your new curtains. Maybe it would pay for a new addition on your house, right? Like, what would this $350 pay for? Then you go over to the 500 and you brainstorm, if you were to get $500 on repeat, what would that $500 pay for? This could be anything. Think about, this is what I would recommend. Go to your Amazon hold for later cart. Okay. Anybody got that? Like, drop a 2 in the chat if you've got one of those save for later carts. I know I've got one. Mine's like up to $5 million by now, right? So when it comes down to it, go down that list. What are the things that you really want that you are telling yourself no to? That's what this is going to pay for. So I think it was Sarah that said in here, Sarah and Sam said it. These are your bonuses, guys. So you should not be attached to the 150, 350, and 500. That means nothing to you. What you should be attached to is all the things that are underneath it. These are all of the things that you should be connecting yourself to and saying, if I just work my business, I will get this and I'll be able to pay for that. This is how you visualize why you're doing it in the first place, right? This is literally how you pull yourself into this business. So I'm going to use myself for an example, and Miranda, maybe you could use yourself for an example afterwards. I don't know if you're willing to do that or not, totally up to you. I know I put you on the spot and it's okay, but I use myself for an example. Okay. I'm building an addition on my house. I'm almost finished right now. We literally broke it down into these bonuses to pay for this entire addition. And I knew that for every 4 customers and a distributor that I got, I was going to pay for the paint in my house, right? For when I got a $350 bonus, which is another 4 low customers and distributor, the next time I got 4 customers and a distributor, I was going to pay for the mudding, the tape, and the insulation, right? So I was connecting it to the things that were going on in my life that I truly wanted. And if you take this list and you connect yourself to this list, right? And maybe there's some things on this list that, you could get with your 9-to-5 job. Those things, cross them out. Okay. If you can get it with your 9-to-5 job, that means that's your plan B. The things that are on this list should not have a plan B to them. This business is going to be your plan A and your plan B for it. This business is what's going to get it for you. And that's going to be the end all be all. Your 9-to-5 job can't get these things. Okay. So it's so important when you are looking to go for these bonuses or go for these ranks, you've got to get your list out. You've got to have a reason why you're doing it, because just saying, well, I want to make $150. Why? Right? Why do you want to make $150? You've got to have that list on why exactly you want it. And then you go from there. And that's what's going to force you to stay up late at night. That's what's going to get you up early in the morning. That's what's going to get you to work the second you get home. That's what's going to get you to say, hold on, hubby, I got to take a minute. I got to get these messages out. I'm so excited. I can't wait. We're getting a new sofa set. I'm so excited, right? Like, that's what's going to get you there. And if you don't have this list and you go to talk to him and you're like, I'm going to send out some messages, he's going to be like, why are you sending out messages? Right? Or why are you working that business? They don't know, because you're not connecting it to a why. You've got to connect it to a why, and you've got to make it close to your heart. And if nobody else understands it in your life, that's okay, because God didn't give it to them. He gave it to you. Okay. So I want to stop and say that really, really quick. Sorry for stealing your shine, girl. But I know I asked you that question of like, what would be something that you would connect it to? Like, what would be a why that you would connect your 150, 350, and 500, or maybe something you've already paid for with your bonuses?
So we're putting we're doing a new addition to our kitchen. We're going to put kind of like brick walling behind our microwave and stuff. And we're also doing a bar top. So my husband actually found the bar top. So my $150 went to purchasing our bar top that is actually sitting in our garage that is getting dried out. You have to dry it out for so long. And then you need like the epoxy and stuff. So that why and that bonus is buying the epoxy, is buying the bar stools, is buying the brick walling for behind my microwave. So the bonus will pay for the new bar top and the new addition to our wall in our kitchen.
Yeah. What a great why. And when you can visualize that, like sometimes I know, like when we were building our addition, I would physically go look at Home Depot at the different colors that they had. Like, did you do that for your backsplash and stuff? Yeah. So good. And it doesn't matter whether you're building an addition on your house or you just want to be able to take your daughter to the nail salon every single week. Like, like that's what one of my goals was to be able to take Bailey like once a month to go get our nails done and stuff and spend some time together, or go get our hair done or whatever. So I budget that out and I make sure that I work my butt off for $150 bonus so that I can go take her to go do those things. Right. And here's another way. And I know some of us have kids on here, some of us do not, but I'm going to share with you the best way that you can make sure that you stay committed to your why. Okay. You take this list, you build a list for yourself, and then you start telling your kids, okay, your kids are going to hold you the most accountable if you are a mom. Okay. Your husband might not understand it. Maybe all you've got is your upline. Maybe that's all you've got is me. You know, maybe all it's got is whoever you're underneath or whoever your sideline is. Go share this list with them. Okay. And then I'm going to take it a step further. When I really want to go for a goal, like when I was building that entire addition, I knew that I could not fail. My son needed a bedroom. Okay. There was no going back on that at all. Like he needed his own space. He had no bedroom in this house at all. So this addition had to be done. So what I did was I went on my Facebook and I shared that I was building an addition on my social media. Did I know at the time whether I was going to make this happen or not? Of course not. I didn't know that I was going to be able to earn all these bonuses. I didn't know that I was going to earn the $10,000 diamond bonus that was going to pay for most of it, right? Like I didn't know all of these things, but I sure as heck was willing to show up for it every single day. And I was willing to work for it every single day and show up for it so that I didn't look dumb on my social media, right? I wanted to make sure that people knew so that that was me holding myself accountable. I got super loud about my why. I got so ridiculously loud that I went live about it. I went on my story and shared it. I was talking about it every single day in a post on Facebook. I was on my story sharing color ideas, and I was posting like different designs for my daughter's bedroom and my son's bedroom, and how we were putting a step down in our living room, and how we were putting high ceilings, and how we were putting recessed lights, and we were putting a big window in my living room. They saw every single step of the way. And now if you're not building addition, it's okay to say, I'm working on buying a new vehicle. These are the things that I want in my new vehicle. I'm going to pay for this in cash. The only way that I'm going to be able to pay for this in cash is if I go all in on this business. I need 4 customers and a distributor left to get that next $150 to go towards that new vehicle. And when you get that $150, woohoo! I put $150 towards my new vehicle, right? You've got to share it. It doesn't matter whether it is a new vehicle, whether it's a fish tank, whether it's you building an addition on your house, whether you want to come home full time, whether it be you buying a new furniture set, or you just wanting to take your kids out on a Disney trip, right? It does not matter what you want. It matters that you share that vision, because people will follow people with a vision. So that's what I'm doing every single day. And I know that Miranda's starting to do that too. And she's doing such an awesome job at it. Plus she's growing. And I know that at one point you had mentioned in your story that personal development has been everything for you. Explain to me a little bit about the shift and what you were noticing before you started personal development, or maybe in the cracks where you stopped, versus what it feels like when you are doing personal development and reading every single day.
So before my personal development, I was very negative, like very can't, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this, I can't do that. And then starting to listen to personal development and listening to all of like how it makes it, like shifted my mindset almost. It was almost like an aha moment. Like, if this person can do it, why can't I? And I noticed that if I miss, like, my morning routine is like my husband gets up, he goes to work. As soon as he leaves, that personal development goes on. And my routine is the same every single morning. So I notice if I'm not doing it, I'm lagging behind. Like my mind is almost like you're missing something. So as soon as that personal development goes on, it's like it shifts your whole day. Just listening to it or reading or listening to it on the radio in the car, it's like it almost shifts your whole day to make it better. And I notice that I'm not so negative. I don't say can't all the time. I say I will do this, I can do this, and I'm going to do this. And it's like it does not come out of my mouth anymore. It's like you can't stop yourself in that. You have to you can't keep stopping yourself in that one track. You have to keep moving past that hard point. You're always going to have mountains. You're always going to go down and up, down and up, down and up, but you're going to see that shift. When you're down, you're going to go up, and then you're going to go down, and then you're going to go straight across, and then you're going to go down again. So it's like mountains.
I love this. And I know that you went for your executive, then you went for the Ruby. And I know what that takes, like, because I've been there before. I know what that takes to get there. And I just want you to share what it feels like when you make the decision that you are going executive or Ruby. Like, what is something that changed for you, or something that you just, what was the feeling like? Like, when did you know, you know?
I think I just knew like the closer I got, like this is going to be a big change for me. Like this is going to be a shift for me. Like this is going to pay for X, Y, and Z. Like I want to reach that. I want to be there. And it was like I would tell my husband, he'd be laying in bed and I was like, "Oh, yep, I got another customer." He's like, "Yeah, so." I'm like, "Okay, can you be a little bit more excited?" He's like, "Oh, I'm so excited." I'm like, "You're being sarcastic." So it was like sharing myself out loud and I was able to like express the excitement. It was like an adrenaline rush. Like when I went for executive, it was like right down to the last wire and I was hustling and then I couldn't fall asleep. It was like that adrenaline was just going. So sharing it and being excited, I think I was more excited than anything. And knowing that I can do this. I just have to make myself work hard for it and not stop when something gets hard. That consistency.
Yeah. That is so good. So freaking good. And especially like, because I was with you the whole entire way, like, you know, just going for executive Ruby. And there was a lot of days where, you know, Miranda, I didn't hear from Miranda throughout the day. And so I would message her and like, do you remember me sending those voice messages? And I was like, when you get this, you get this. How exciting is this, you know? So like vision is literally everything, wouldn't you say? Having that vision in front of you for like why you're doing this.
It's that vision, like hearing it and seeing it and writing it. I am one for writing things down. I have a whole notebook full of my work stuff and I carry it to school with me. And people will look at me like I'm crazy, like sitting at the lunch table with this big old folder out and papers everywhere and a book here and there. I'm like, don't worry, guys. I'm just, doing my other side job. They're like, how can you do that? I'm like, you just, when you want it and you go for it. And then I'll constantly, like when you send the voice messages, my phone's up to my ear with the volume down low, listening to it. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm listening to something, guys.
It's so crazy because not everybody understands and not everybody's going to get it around you. But that was the biggest shift that I feel like you've had since day one is who cares if nobody else gets it? Like, I get it. God put this on my heart and this is what I want. And so I don't care if my husband doesn't understand it. I don't care if my best friend doesn't understand it or, you know, my mom or my dad or my coworkers. You just kind of went for it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I noticed that right from the start. And you know what? Having a vision is so important. Something that our previous chief of network officer used to say, and some of you might remember her, Pam Souter, she used to say, you got to lick the leather. Okay. And what she meant by that is when you want a crystal clear vision and you want, let's just say you want that brand new car. Okay. You've got to really get in there and visualize. Okay. Visualization is everything. It is the biggest part of manifesting. It is the biggest part of calling into your life what you truly want. You've got to physically see yourself claiming that and doing it. That's why I shared this with you. That's why she shared her why with you. That's why she was explaining that she's redoing her kitchen and she's got this and she's got that. And she had to go and like look at the backsplash and look at the countertop. And you know what I mean? Like she's got to make sure she has every single thing down to the wire, what it's going to look like before it even happens. It's crystal clear. And I'll even share with you guys, when I was going for my addition to be done, we hired a contractor at first. We went through 2 contractors. The first one really, really screwed us up money-wise, and he was pretty much a con artist, right? So when it came down to it, I was constantly telling him, I got to know exactly how much the pillars are. I got to know exactly how many 2x4s we need and how much they're going to be. I've got to know how much insulation we need and I got to know how much it is. Like I've got to know down to the wire how much it is. So they would tell me, you know, oh, well, insulation is going to run you $1,000. Okay. So in my head, the reason why I asked him that was because in my head, I was breaking it down into bonuses. Okay. So I was saying he would say $1,000. I would say, okay, $1,000, I can get that in a couple of different ways. I can do 2 full cycles and I can get 500 and 500. Back then we didn't have cycles, but this is just for an example. Okay. 500 and 500. Or I could get my Ruby and then get a $500 cycle, right? I can reclaim Ruby or claim someone else's Ruby. And then from there, that would be another $500. So I would break it down into that. Okay. I know some of you guys are going for new vehicles. Okay. You've got to figure out how much that vehicle is going to cost you. And then from there, you need to break it down into your bonuses, into your paychecks, right? I know, I think it was Amy. She was going for a new sofa. She wants a new sofa for her house. She just got a brand new, beautiful house. And she is looking to put a new furniture set in her house, right? So like, you've got to figure out how much that furniture set, that dream furniture set is. You've got to go to the store and you've got to like sit on it. You've got to get the kids to like jump on it and like check it out. You've got to get them to like smell the couch, you know, like you just got to figure it out, right? Then you got to get that price. Once you get that price, then you break it down into bonuses and you say, okay, I know this couch is going to run me $1,500, which we know couch sets are not cheap. Okay. $1,500. This is where you break it down into your bonuses. Okay. You say, I know that I need $1,500, so I could break that down into cycles. Cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. That's 500, 500, 500. But 3 $500 bonuses and she'd have that couch set. You know what I mean? So that's literally what visualization does for you. And what Pam Souter was talking about when she said lick the leather, she says, you're going for a new vehicle. You got to get in that vehicle. You got to take that vehicle for a test ride. You got to make sure you ask them how much it is and how much they're willing to come down. You got to make sure that you go in that vehicle, you smell the new seats, you lick the leather, you know what I mean? Like she would say this all the time. And it was so true. It was so true. And I didn't understand what she meant until I started visualizing myself. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I need this. Okay. So like Matt and I, for example, right now, we are building a new deck on our front porch or our front side. We are building a back deck this summer. We are putting new roofing on the addition. Plus we're putting siding around our entire house. Okay. So here I am over here writing it down on a piece of paper. And I am literally writing down exactly how much each one of those is going to cost. We do all the work ourselves, so we don't have to pay anybody for it. But I'm literally taking that piece of paper and I'm jotting down, okay, I know that the siding is going to cost $5,000. Okay. How many ways can I earn $5,000 within this business? Okay. And then after that, I break it down to, you know, the loyal customers and the distributor aspect. So if I want to, let's just say I want to build a new porch out front, which we're going to do, right? I've got it on a piece of paper and on that piece of paper, I know I need like $600 to be able to build that front porch. Okay. Exactly the way that I want it. So $600 would be how many bonuses, right? I could get 2 tier 2s and boom, that's where it is. So that's what you want to do. You want to break it down into that. Now 2 tier 2s, what does that look like? 8 loyal customers and 2 distributors. If I just get that, or actually it's technically four distributors, right? So if I get that, I know that my front porch is being built. This is how you've got to visualize. You've got to break it down into how much money do you need for that goal? And then how many bonuses do you need to earn in order to make that happen? And then break it down into loyal customers. How many loyal customers and how many distributors do you need to make that happen? Then you go all in. You focus, just like Miranda focused on going for her Ruby. She focused. She was laser focused in on it. I told her, I said, what if you could get 4 loyal customers today? Like, oh my gosh, that would be Ruby right there. And guess what she did? She went boom, 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 follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. She just went all in on it. And that rush comes from the messaging. You're so excited about hitting that next level. You can feel, like physically feel, and I know you know what I'm talking about. You can feel the energy from what you're truly wanting. It's like, you're too close to not get it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys on that topic. And I don't know why I just felt called to say that. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I think you got it all.
Okay, perfect. So there was another thing that I wanted to ask you really, really quick. I know we still got like 20 minutes left, but I'm gonna try to cut off early. So, you talked about you talked about personal development, and how important it is. As far as personal development goes, what do you feel like is like your biggest learning so far in the books as a whole that you've read?
It doesn't happen overnight. Um, yeah, I think it's just knowing that this isn't going to happen overnight. It's going to take you time to learn it and run with it and keep going and keep moving. And it's like the John C. Maxwell's, that's one thing he always tells you, like, it's not gonna happen overnight. You always gotta work with as a team, and there's, a team works together. And if you don't have that team, are you working alone? I actually just read that in that chapter before we got on here. Was he was talking about being a team, and who do you have on your team? Are you alone? Are you with the team? Is your team working with you, or are you working by yourself? So it talked a lot about teamwork and seeing yourself as a team.
Yeah, that's so good. And that's actually something like that was the book that I read before I ended up telling you that you needed that book because that book just talks so much about teamwork and
Mhm.
how if you don't have certain people in the right area on your team, then it's not going to work, right? You want to have
Right.
people who are team players, which means that when they work every single day, they don't work just for themselves, but they work for the benefit of the team. And when you
Mhm.
do that, you grow as a team and it makes it easier for you to work together. So, for example, we got some people on our team who are really good at numbers. We've got some people on our team who are really good at hyping people up. We've got some people on our team who are really good at information and organizing. We've got some people on our team who are just really good at bringing that vision to the team. We got some who are really good at giveaways and excited and getting excited and things like that. So yeah, having a variety on your team is really, really good. And I think that understanding that delayed gratification, like you said, that's the key to success. You've got to keep going. And some days are going to be hard. And I know you know this because you went through some really, really hard days last month. And you said that you focused on what your grandfather would want. And you focused really a lot on, okay, how do I get back up from here? You didn't look at it like it was like, this happened, so I can't move forward. You looked at it like, this is happening, so I need to do this to make him proud. And I just love that about you. I think that that was just such a huge turnaround that you did this last month. So I'm super proud of you, and I want you to know that. As far as the last question that I really wanted to get into, or is second to last really, was I know you work a full-time job. Okay. And we've got a lot of girls on here who are just starting who work a full-time job. Okay. I want you to share your best tips, or maybe what your schedule looks like, or maybe some of the sacrifices that you've had to make in order to work this business while you work a full-time job on the side.
So my schedule as a full-time ed tech is my husband gets up at 4 o'clock every morning. When he leaves, I could go back to bed because I don't have to get up till 6. I could go back to bed for another 2 hours, but instead I stay up. I do my personal development. I send out my follow-ups. If I have anybody that's messaged from the night before, I follow up with them. Sometimes it's a little early, so they probably won't respond. And then at 6 o'clock, I get ready for work. I listen to more personal development, and then I go to work. And I get a 30-minute lunch. That's it, 30 minutes. And in that 30 minutes, I could choose to watch something on Hulu on my lunch, do some schoolwork because I'm also a full-time student, or I could work my business. And every day I choose to work my business. I choose to read my book, set my laptop out, and I pull up Facebook because it's easier on my laptop than on my phone during my lunch. And I hustle. And I get messages rolling in like crazy because that's usually when everybody is doing their lunch breaks, is at like 11:30, between 11:30 and 12. And then sometimes I'll work it while I'm working, but lately I haven't been able to because the kids are so crazy. Like it's like a hit or miss. Some days like I can work with my kiddo and still check messages, or some days it's like, nope, you're checking them on your lunch because this is just too much of a crazy day. And then after work, I come home and I do the same thing. I sit down and I start reading. Working a full-time job and going to school can be a little tricky, I will say. Knowing how close graduation is and working the business, it's choosing my time wisely. If that my husband is actually away this week, so choosing time wisely, I can sit up and watch a movie or I can work my business. And most of the time, the movie plays in the background and I work my business while he watches the movie. So sometimes I can get a 2-for-1, and sometimes I'll say, nope, I can't tonight. Sorry. So it's all choosing what you want.
Mhm.
What do you want? Why do you want it? And why are you going for it? And finding and making them sacrifices. I've made a lot of sacrifices, but they've been good sacrifices.
Mhm. Yeah, it's all about that giving up the good for the great. That's what I hear when you say that. And
Yep.
something that I heard along the way, and you guys might want to write this down so you can have this somewhere around your house so you can remember it. It's all about giving up what you want right now for what you want most. You
Mm-hmm.
got to choose what you want most over what you want right now. And that means that, I mean, just to relate it back to my life, because I know we got a lot of moms on here too. When it comes down to it, sometimes I've got to say, Bailey, Bailey's my daughter. If you don't know all about my life or anything, I have to say Bailey, because my daughter's really, really attention needy. She's always wanting my attention 24/7. And so sometimes I have to say, Bailey, after I'm done doing this, then I will take care of that. Or after I'm done doing this, I will do that. Right. So I kind of give her that incentive of, if you're good right now, then we will do something afterwards. Right. There's some nights where she'll ask me, can we play a board game tonight? Or can we do this tonight? And I've already scheduled myself for some hefty trainings. Okay. I give up the good right now for the great that we are going to have in our future. Meaning sometimes I have to say, no, we can't do board games tonight. Mom's got to make things happen. And I'm constantly replaying this in her head or in my other half's head or whatever, saying, can you imagine if I just busted my butt right now, how awesome our summer will be? Can you
Mm-hmm.
imagine us being able to go to the Boston Aquarium and being able to take the kids to the zoo, being able to go to the beach every day, being able to take them to the ocean, being able to go on a trip to New Hampshire this summer, being able to have cookouts and pay for it in cash all summer long, and being able to get our house completely finished throughout the summer. But those things are not going to happen if I don't work right now, right? So I've got to give up what I want right now. I got to give up that movie that Matt wants to watch at night. I got to give up that board game that they want to play right now. I've got to give up that I've got to give up that I don't know, just certain things like that. I've got to give up that time where we just sit there and we talk and talk and talk about absolutely nothing, right? I've got to give up those times so that I can have more of those times later on down the road with no worries and no stresses at all. And sometimes I feel like that's the hardest thing to get through in this
Mm-hmm.
business, is like learning to give up the good for the great, learning that you've got to choose between, do I want that extra hour of sleep? Or do I want to earn a Ruby bonus and be able to pay all my bills next month from my phone? What do I want? What do I want most? Do I want that extra hour of sleep, or do I want to make it happen? Do I want to watch a movie with my husband and give up that Ruby bonus, or do I want to earn that Ruby bonus and be able to watch movies because I've invested my time into training people that are elevating me at the same exact time, right? You really have to choose between those two things, or choose between those things. Something that really helped me, and I'm sure that Miranda probably can relate to this one, just correct me if I'm wrong, is that Matt and I actually chose one day a week where I hop off the phone right around 7:30ish, and I do nothing but spend time with him. That might be we go outside and have a fire, just him and I. That might be we watch a movie and he falls asleep on the couch halfway through. that could be we sit down and I drink some wine and we play a game together. That could be us going out in the shed and just building something. We do that often. That could be anything, but I'm giving my time to him wholeheartedly 1 day a week, and he knows that I'm giving that to him. Okay. The rest of the week, he knows I've got to hustle. He knows I've got to get to the grind, right? Your husband might not understand this right now. And I get it that, we all go through stages and phases in our world. Matt never really has understood my business until we were a couple of years in and he came home full time, right? He didn't understand it before then though. And so when I would tell him, like, I gotta work, I can't go watch a movie, I can't go do this, I can't go do that, he didn't get it. And it was okay that he didn't understand it. But what I did was I put that vision in his head every single day until he got it. So I would consistently tell him, I'm working on a bonus so you can come home full time. I'm working on a bonus so that we can pay our light bill on time. I'm working on a bonus so that we can pay our light bill or our mortgage from my phone this month instead of you having to bust your butt with that extra shift at work. Right? Like I would put that vision in his head. He might not understand it at first, but eventually he will start to get it. He will start to understand, right? If he loves you and he cares about you, which your husband probably does, right? He's been with you for this long. He will start to see the vision after a while. But it's going to take you saying it aloud again and again and again. And even if he says that, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to work. Have you made any money yet? Right? We all hear those things, but it doesn't matter either way. You've got to keep pushing through and say, it doesn't matter if I haven't gotten it yet. I'm going to. Can you, humor me for a little while? Can you please just let me, support me in this and all the things, right? I know a girl that told her husband, give me a solid year of working this and I will make some money. Right. And then she made it happen. And it's just because she said that to him. So we covered that, and then we covered the biggest lesson from personal development, stuff like that. And then I want to ask you another question about leading other people. And the reason why I wanted to ask you this is because you've become a recent leader. Okay. And I know there's a lot of girls on here who are signing people or are nervous to sign people, and they haven't signed anybody yet because they're afraid of what will happen once they actually sign them, right? We can probably both relate to this. So
Yep.
I want you to share just a very quick tip on what was it like hustling to get those people on your team?
It was, it wasn't, at first it wasn't easy. I always thought, oh, no one's going to want to come on my team. But once they signed on, it was like, I was fine. They found the vision themselves and I was able to walk them through. And I have one girl who is, you tell her one thing and she's going to that 10 steps next. And she's going because she knows what she wants and she's hustling for it. And she's continuing to do it every day. I have never been a leader. I have always been so scared of what other people thought of me, or I'm not good to lead other people. But being in this business has showed me that leadership is a big thing. Like they are trusting me to lead them in the right direction. So if they are trusting me, then I can put trust in myself to do the same exact thing and trust that they will work just as hard as I am. And it's always trusting your team and knowing that your team wants it just as bad as you do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm putting that vision is so important too. And I know that we've recently talked a lot about vision and how, when you're leading other people, it's all about getting that vision in front of them. Like, why do you want this? Like, how are you going to get it? If someone comes to me, and I say this on social media all the time, I say, you come to me with a why and I will show you the how, right? And that's just because I've done it myself. Miranda, you've done it yourself. You've said, I've got this vision. Okay. I know what I want and I know why I want it. And then you broke it down and you said, okay, in order to make that vision happen, I got to go diamond, right? I've got to go diamond. I've got to push for it. And then we broke it down into months and we said, okay, March, you're going to go ruby and emerald. And then in April, you're going to push for that diamond, and it's going to be hard and it's going to be uphill climb the whole way, but you're doing the personal development to make it happen. And you're believing in your team. And that right there, like, is the biggest thing, is that you're believing in them. You're excited for them. You are boosting them up every single day. And I'm so freaking proud of you. I'm so proud of you for doing that. As far as as leading other people, I mean, leading other people is one thing, but getting them on your actual team, what do you feel like was the biggest thing that you did? Just one solid tip of what was the biggest thing that you did in order to get your 2 distributors that you signed?
I would say it falls back to consistently like sending them the messages, because my 2 girls, they were like texting me all the time, asking me what I was doing. They'd see me in public and they'd be like, "Hey, I see that you're in a new business. What are you doing?" And we'd talk for a little bit, but of course you're in public and you're trying to get groceries. So you're like, "Hey, I'll send you a message." So they were constantly, and I think it was like 2 weeks for one, and then it was like 3 days for the other one, and she was like, "Yep, I want it." Like, and it was very fast. I mean, at first it was a little bit of us posting and sending the messages and the follow-ups and, "Hey, did you get a chance to watch the video I sent you?" And then they were just like bam, and they wanted it. So
Yeah, so you would say like the fortune was in the follow-up for you, right?
yep, the follow-up and the consistency.
Yeah, consistency and posting too, obviously, like sharing your story. Your story is super inspirational, especially, knowing what you went through when you first started this business. That's a huge thing to be able to share and say, "Hey, listen, like I've been through hard times too. I get it. I know what it looks like, and I made it through it. So if I made it through it, I can definitely teach you how to make it through it too." That is so good. And so I just want this last question, okay, then we're going to hop off here. And I appreciate you getting on here. You have done such an awesome job, seriously, an awesome job at this. You blew me out of the water. I didn't realize how good you were going to be. So I'm super excited. And I'm thankful that you took the time to get on here, and you've given us some awesome fire tips, girl, like so good. As far as the books that you've read, just the ones that you can think of off the top of your head, could you share with us the books you've read so far, starting just a few months ago, and then what your favorite one is so far?
So the books I've read so far are relation intelligence, and You Can Do Hard Things, and the 21. Yeah, that one. Yep. I listened to that on audio. And You Can Do Hard Things, and the 12 Indisputable Laws of Teamwork, which is this one right here. So I think my favorite one so far is the You Can Do Hard Things, because let me tell you what, that put fire in my body as soon as I read the first couple pages.
Yeah.
That is like my favorite so far.
Sherry Lynn O'Calla, she did such an awesome job laying out what this business does. Mm-hmm. As far as her book too, just so you guys know, this is the book that we're talking about right now. It's called You Can Do Hard Things. It's by Sherry Lynn O'Calla. She is the wife of our CEO. And she wrote a book that was specifically about how to ditch excuses and achieve your dreams. And she relates it a lot to our business. Mm-hmm. She goes through all the excuses that we use throughout the day. She also goes through all of the hard things that she's had to go through along her life, and how she's been able to use this. Is there an audiobook for it? I'm not sure. It's a brand new book. It just came out, I believe, either at the beginning of this year or the end of last year. It's a brand new book. It's so good. You can get it right on
Amazon.
Yeah, I had a brain fart there, sorry. You can get right on Amazon, and I'm telling you, you're gonna want the hard copy. I know it's really crazy, but I don't know about you, but did you do a lot of highlighting in that book?
Yeah, and the good thing about it is there's reflection pages at the end of every chapter, and I literally write on them reflection pages. It makes you reflect from the chapter to your personal life.
Yes, so good. I love it. So it's almost like, how some books have the book and then they have the workbook, so you can like do it. The workbook is pretty much embedded into the actual book. Mm-hmm. So you're going to want the hard copy. It is not a hard read. Okay. I can read a chapter easy within like 10 minutes. It's like super easy to read. She does not use crazy hard words. She is very fluent with her speaking. She talks just like you and I would. There is no craziness happening in this book. So a 10 out of 10 recommend. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I
Yeah.
would.
Very, very good. And then relational intelligence talks a lot about how to talk to people
Mhm.
and how to understand people and how to relate to them and all that good stuff. It's Sherry Lynn. I'm gonna pull it up. Sherry Lynn Ocala. And that's how it is. Take a screenshot. That way you have it. And if you need it in the chat, definitely let me know, because we will put it in the chat also. We'll take a picture of the book. Such a good book, though. I can't even describe it. And then we'll go ahead and close out with that. So once again, Miranda, I appreciate your time. I love you so freaking much. And I think you're just such a fire on our team. You're going to be one of the diamond leaders on our team. And I can see it happening. You're going to make it happen before summer. And your whole team is going to be on fire. And I can't wait to see that happen and play out. So the next time that Miranda gets on a Zoom call, guys, she's going to be a diamond leader, and she's going to be leading all you guys from the front, and it's going to be so phenomenal. She's going to share all of her tips with us on how she went diamond within her first 6 months, and she's going to make it happen. So I appreciate you. Love you, girl. And if there's not anything else that you want to add to it,
Nope, think I'm good.
perfect. We're going to go ahead and end this Zoom call. Thank you guys so much for showing up. We are going to do another one next weekend, or not next weekend. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. Next Wednesday. And next Wednesday, we're going to have another leader on here. So I appreciate you guys showing up, and I hope you have a good night.